Hello, this is about the ongoing war of ethics among public administration. So, a little bit about the history of ethics. Ethics in public administration represents the moral code guiding officials in their conduct and how they should represent themselves, the organization, and the citizens they serve. Ethics are essential for the proper functioning of federal, state, and local governments. Ethics guide decisions on public interests, ensure the public is treated with respect and equity, and promotes officials to take accountability for their actions. Ethics inspire transparency among officials as well as accountability and integrity. Public administration has been around since ancient Egypt, Rome, and Greece. In antiquity, organized public affairs were managed by officials responsible for administering justice and maintaining law and order. With the emergence of organized public structures, so too came people and their thoughts on the subject. Socrates is the most known philosopher of ethics. He believed that ethics play a monumental role in everyday life and should be applied to all choices one makes, especially those that affect the citizens. Socrates was the first person to recognize the need to define ethical concepts and establish standards that officials must abide by. His core question was, what ought one to do, as he focused on inquiring rather than telling people how they should live. This question is important within ethics of the public sector because it asks, what should one do when they know what should be done? Will they act in accordance with ethics and do what is right, or will they do what is in their best interest, even if it is ethically wrong? This decision is essential within public administration because it helps guide officials and their decisions. It helps to build trust and transparency with citizens, and it holds officials accountable for their actions. The levels of power and regulations. So ethics in the federal government are ruled by standards of conduct and policies. All employees must know and follow certain ethical guidelines to be employed by the federal government. They explain that public service and public trust go hand in hand, and that there are 14 basic principles of ethical conduct that public employees must follow. So, public officials must pledge loyalty to the Constitution, the laws, and ethical principles. It is also important that employees do not hold financial interests that conflict with the conscientious performance of duty. Employees should not engage in financial transactions using non-public government information or allow the improper use of such information to further any private interest. Employees shall not, except as permitted by the standards of ethical conduct, solicit or accept any gift or other item of monetary value from any person or entity seeking official action from, doing business with, or conducting activities regulated by the employee's agency, or whose interests may be substantially affected by the performance or non-performance of the employee's duties. Employees shall put forth honest effort in the performance of their duties, and they shall not knowingly make unauthorized commitments or promises of any kind purporting to bind the government. Employees should not use the public office for private gain. Employees shall act impartially and not give preferential treatment to any private organization or individual. Employees shall protect and conserve federal property and not use it for anything other than authorized activities. Employees shall not engage in outside commitments or employments or activities, including seeking or negotiating for employment that conflict with government duties and responsibilities. Employees shall disclose waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption to appropriate authorities, and they shall satisfy in good faith their obligations as citizens, including all financial obligations, especially those imposed by law. Employees shall adhere to all laws and regulations that provide equal opportunity for all Americans, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, or disability. Employees shall endeavor to avoid any actions creating the appearance that they are violating the law or the ethical standards set forth in the standards of ethical conduct. Whether particular circumstances create an appearance that the law or these standards have been violated shall be determined from the perspective of a reasonable person with knowledge of the relevant facts. Ethical concerns among the public sector. So administrative law is how laws and rules are read and defined. Therefore, having an ethical and moral guideline to follow is essential in defining appropriate laws. Administrative law has an internal morality that helps to negotiate the scope of law in the legal system, and without ethics and morality, a legal system cannot exist. Harvard professor Lon Fuller explains that there are 8 specific ways that help guide administrative law to prevent a violation of morality and ethics. He asks these questions. A failure to make rules in the first place is a violation of ethics. Ensuring that all issues are decided on a case-by-case basis are unethical. A failure of transparency in the sense that affected parties are not made aware of the rules with which they must comply is unethical. An abuse of retroactive activity in the sense that people cannot rely on current rules and are under threat of change. A failure to make rules understandable is unethical. Issuance of rules that contradict each other and rules that require people to do things that they lack the power to do are unethical. Frequent changes in rules so that people cannot orient their actions in accordance with them is unethical. And a mismatch between rules and announced and rules as administered is unethical. Some unethical consequences include when there is a lack of ethics and morality within public administration, it can lead to many negative outcomes, the most common being corruption. Ethics in public administration ensure that the public officials hold values of integrity, transparency, and equality while making decisions that will impact the citizens they serve. When a public official lacks ethics and violates the public's trust, they undermine the Constitution and the values that support democracy. If ethics are lacking in a governmental official, it can cause public funds to be wasted or stolen. It will lead to disengagement and mistrust in the citizens, and can even lead to social unrest, riots, violence, and a general lack of safety among the public. The importance of ethics. Public officials who act in accordance with ethics will promote public trust and increase engagement with citizens while building long-term relationships and connections. Public officials who act in accordance with ethics will promote public trust. Okay, thank you.